everyone's afraid about the winter freeze because a couple of years ago when we did have a deep freeze, electricity was lost for several days, almost several weeks. It caused a lot of damage. To help prevent that from occurring, we're going to discuss what you can do outside if you have an irrigation system. If you are a landlord that has a vacant home, what you possibly can do to make sure there isn't damage. Temperature is back to normal. Now you're going back to the house and you're looking for damages and seeing if there's anything going wrong in the house. When you go to turn back on the water, make sure that to prevent pressure from building up in the pipe, make sure that some of those faucets in the house are open. Welcome to High-End Homes Handled Right. This is the Real Property Management Luxury Podcast hosted by yours truly, Lyndel Johnson. Today, if you may notice, I'm not at the studio where we usually record this episode. We had to leave our office space because the winter freeze is coming. And so actually we're here in a little bit west of Houston, Texas. And everyone's afraid. Everyone is worried about the winter freeze because a couple of years ago when we did have a deep freeze, electricity was lost for several days, almost several weeks, and it caused a lot of damage in several homes throughout Houston. So today's episode, we're going to talk about things that you can do as an homeowner, and as a landlord to try to prevent some of the issues that occurred several years ago. When I moved to Houston, we didn't know that Texas can get such cold weather. And there are a lot of people in this area that didn't know that as well, obviously, because there were several homes that when the freeze hit, many pipes had to busted, and you had a lot of damage from, water coming down in people's homes, and it was just a mess. So, today we want to talk about things you can do to help prevent that from occurring. So, we're going to go into a bathroom, for example. We're going to go and do some things in the bathrooms and to make sure that doesn't happen. Then we're going to discuss what you can do outside if you have an irrigation system. We're also going to talk about, if you are a landlord that has a vacant home, what you possibly can do to make sure there isn't damage. All right, vacant homes. So you have a home that is currently vacant. You've heard that the temperature could be below freezing level for several days, and you are worried that you may have some damage to your house because of maybe a pipe may burst, and the water may just cause so much damage to you. So you're wondering, what can you do to help that from happening? So what I tend to do is, if it's a vacant home, what we do is we go to the house and we'll go into several faucets, turn on the water, go outside, and we'll turn off the main water line, the water going to the house. Sometimes that's in the front of the house. Some homes have it in the garage. For example, this house that we're in right now, it's actually located in the garage area. But what you want to do is you want to shut off the water. If it's a vacant home, it's okay. Just shut off the water. Open up the valve a little bit, and you should be okay. Now, fast forward. Let's just say now you're out of the winter freeze time frame. Temperature is back to normal. Now you're going back to the house, and you're looking for damages and seeing if there's anything going wrong in the house. When you go to turn back on the water, once again, make sure that to prevent pressure from building up in the pipe, make sure that some of those faucets in the house are open. Make sure you turn on the water in some of the bathrooms, and then go out and turn on the main water to the house. This will prevent also damage to your house. Several years ago, we had an apartment complex that wasn't done. So when the city went to turn back on the water, or should I say the plumber went to go turn back on the water to the apartment complex, they didn't go through and made sure that happened. So that caused major damage in many units because some of those, the pressure from turning on that water full blast and the water was off and the pipes were turned off, caused some damage. So you just want to make sure that you think about that when you do that. But you know what? Now let's, this probably will not happen to you because now you've heard this, and it's one less thing you have to worry about. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to a restroom and we're going to talk through what you can do during the winter freeze. All right, so this is a occupied house that we're currently in right now, and what we want to do is we're going to one of the faucets, and just know that what we're doing here, we're probably gonna do it in every bathroom area. Okay, so right now actually we're in the kitchen, so we have the water at a slow drip, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have these cabinets opened like so, and make sure in the house the heat is on. This will prevent from your pipes freezing up during the winter freeze.
So if this is actually a vacant house, you have no residents in it, you want to make sure that the water is off going to the house. Some properties you'll have to go out a little bit. This main water lane to the house is outside by this curb. You would go over here, there's a tool, you could turn it off, and that's one way to make sure that the water is off to the house. Here you can see we've had some plants out here at this house that we wanted to make sure that it's covered and making sure that it's taken care of so that it doesn't die during the freeze. As we walk over here, this house has an irrigation system that has already been wrapped. You can take it up from up here. I had some old wrappings. What we'll probably do is get rid of this old bags that they had here, and we'll probably get official wrapping for these pipes. So what this owner of this house did was they put a bag over the top, which is perfect. They probably got this at Amazon. But this here, if water is left in here, this will crack and water will come out, and this is a costly device that you'll have to replace. So what I recommend doing is, here you'll see that there's two little screws. You can make sure it's open. Here, you've got the pipes turned off already, but you're going to turn this off. Then systematically go to the next one, turn this off, and then turn this off. But you're going to make sure that the water is all drained out. Once that's completed, you're then going to put your bag over, like so. Making sure those two valves are open, the two screws. You're going to tighten it up, like so. That's it. Voila. Over here to the left, they did the same thing over here. They wrapped this one up. Did a great job wrapping it up. See, there was water still, so it looks like they have an issue with water dripping from this faucet. So we'll have to address that. So what they want to do is they want to make sure that this is tight, like so. No water coming from it. It's getting tightened.